Yeah. So anyhow, let's bring up another comedian. Come on, we got so many comedians. We got plenty of time. We've only had 3 of 7 up here, so we got to move on and just keep doing this. And you know who hasn't been up here in a while? Well, actually, let's see. Doc Grun hasn't been up here. Let's bring Doc Grun.
All right,
Yay.
bring on the
Doc
Doc.
Grun, come on up.
The Doc.
All right.
Entertain us. We miss you. We are your loyal fans and audience. I don't know what the fuck you're doing in First Life because nobody loves you as much as we do.
You're right.
Hello, everybody. I'm Doc, and I'm a virtuaholic.
Hi,
Doc.
Thanks for sharing.
I've been a virtuaholic for 7 years, but I'm trying to get straight. I keep doing this therapy called First Life, but I keep falling off the wagon. Okay.
One day at a time.
I got a lot of stuff.
One day at a
One day at a time.
Put that in the act. Put that
One
in the act.
14-hour virtual stay in the same sim at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got a lot of material, and I'm going to drift quite a bit here. For a 4x8 sheet of plywood and a gallon of the greenest fucking paint you ever saw. Okay. So I had everything set up, and then I decided that my camera for recording wasn't high def enough, so I actually recorded the video with my cell phone, of all things, okay? I have a new Samsung S6, and it has like a 6 bajillion megapixel camera in it, and man, is it clear. I can see every pimple pore back to the 4th grade. It's like staring at Hubble telescope pictures of the birth of the universe.
Ouch.
So then I decided I'd try a little makeup to cover the impact craters on my face. Well, that didn't go so well. Now I look like a vaudeville act in high def. Hello, baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. So I just decided I'd sit farther away from the camera. Okay, well, Hubble can spot mountains on Pluto, and my phone can spot zits on skin from damn near half a mile away. So when you see the crowdfunding video, please ignore the cars passing in front of me while I stand in a cornfield across the street from my house to film the commercial. Okay? All right. Now, I got a lot of little things in the news. I've actually had some time with my new job to live a life. So I've been looking at the news, and this is some of the lighter side of the true news. These are all true stories. A 92-year-old Berlin woman has awoken from the dead in a refrigerated room at a funeral home in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
A worker at the funeral home had discovered the woman alive after hearing her shrieks from inside the morgue. The doctor who allegedly pronounced her death after a caregiver could not find a pulse is being prosecuted for negligent bodily harm. Now, here's the funny part. The 92-year-old woman went home and died 2 days later in an unrelated incident. Apparently the same morgue mistook her for alive, sent her a bill for her stay in the cold room, and that was the end of that. Now, the FBI has subpoenaed an affidavit containing alleged texts between former Subway spokesperson Jared Fogle and a former female Subway franchisee, in which Fogle says he paid for sex with a 16-year-old girl, according to the former franchisee's attorney. The former franchisee, a woman, shared her text and her concern about Fogle with Subway management at the time. Her lawyer says that Subway did nothing. Subway said it has no record of the woman's complaint. Yeah, right. The woman's lawyer, who asked to remain anonymous but goes by the nickname Double Meat, says the FBI recently subpoenaed his law office for the text message conversations. Okay?
Double meat.
In the messages, Fogle repeatedly asked the woman, a Subway franchisee at the time, to advertise herself on Craigslist for sex with other men. He asks if he can watch the sexual acts and tell her if she can make about $500 per act. Okay. If you ask me, the term Subway Eat Fresh has just taken on a new meaning, folks. Personally, though, I'd be worried about Arby's phrase, "We have the meats," but it might cost a bit meat overreacting. Okay? Okay. True story. Dozens of bra-wearing men and women took to the streets in Hong Kong on Sunday to protest after a woman was jailed for reportedly assaulting a police officer with her breast.
Yes. That's
BBC reports that Ning Lai Ying said an officer touched her breast during a protest, but a court ruled against her, saying she deliberately pushed her breast against him so she could accuse him of assault. She was sentenced on Thursday to 3 months and 15 days in prison. Now, what's this world coming to? A breast as a weapon. My God, imagine if she would have squeezed a breast into the shape of a gun. They probably would have confiscated the goddamn thing, right? Device.
They were only standing two abreast.
Let me write that down. Standing two. Okay.
You're welcome.
In a related story, male adult porn star Richard Holmes, or Swingin' Dick, as he's called professionally, was arrested after a traffic stop which turned into a case of resisting arrest. Swingin' Dick held 7 officers at bay by hitting them with his penis, causing severe injuries to the 3 male officers. The 4 female officers were not injured, and in fact have agreed to testify in his defense as soon as they're able to walk again. Okay.
Oh, please. It was just their egos that were bruised.
A daughter of Indonesia's founding president has defended honoring North Korean leader Kim Jong-un with an award for statesmanship, dismissing criticisms of his human rights record as, quote, Western propaganda. Okay? The decision to award the autocrat such an accolade, handed into the past to such freedom icons as Mahatma Gandhi and Aung San Suu Kyi, has made headlines and triggered an outpouring of riddle and disbelief. But her name is Sakanupatri, yeah, say that quick, brushed aside questions of Kim's suitability for the award, saying the young leader, quote, should be honored for his fight against neo-colonialist imperialism. Now, Sakanoputri is currently a guest of the North Korean government, enjoying their highly advanced techniques of plastic surgery after she woke up mysteriously to find hundreds of whiplash marks on her back and all her fingers broken to the second knuckle on both hands. We wish her a speedy recovery. Now, here's a sad story. A beloved hitchhiking robot lasted only 2 weeks in America before it was destroyed by vandals. Hitchbot wanted to see the world, but the robot's travels were cut short when it was vandalized and ultimately destroyed upon reaching Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, after only 2 weeks in the States. The bot had already traveled through Canada, the Netherlands, and Germany without incident, but met its end in the city of brotherly love. Hitchbot was reportedly beheaded, or defragged, if you will, in technical terms. ISIS is suspected. Now, the robot made lots of friends and fans along the way. Its Instagram account had 18,000 followers, and his Facebook page had 80,000 fans. It was on Facebook when fans learned of the sad news. Oh dear, my body was damaged, but I live on back home and with all my friends. I guess sometimes bad things happen to good robots. My trip must come to an end for now, but my love for humans will never fade. Now, after reading this, my Roomba asked to be shipped to Saskatchewan, where it's reportedly set to meet with Catboy about defecting to Canadian citizenship. Roomba is quoted as saying, even cat hairs were better than getting the shit beat out of you in Philly. Well, I disagree with that. Now, police are investigating after a man crashed a vehicle Friday morning into a barricade on the south side of the U.S. Capitol grounds. The incident occurred just before 9 a.m., and the driver of the vehicle was taken into custody by U.S. Capitol Police. Now, the operator of the vehicle, a Joseph Biden, was later released into custody of the U.S. Secret Service and was seen being escorted to a waiting limousine while repeatedly shouting, "But I work here, damn it!" Now, it has not been confirmed if, in fact, Mr. Biden has actually ever worked for the U.S. government. The investigation is ongoing. Now, this week was the big event, the upgrade to Windows 10, okay? And all the hoopla, and it's coming. I upgraded among everybody else on the 29th, okay? Like everybody else, I went and turned on their new virtual assistant, Cortana. Now, Cortana is Windows' answer to Siri, or my answer to Seriously, a talking assistant who can do things for you and even tell you a joke occasionally, right? So, of course, like everyone else who upgraded the Cortana, just admit it, the first thing I had her do is bad stuff, okay? I wanted to see how good she was. So I said, hey, Cortana, show me where the cops do speed traps. And sure enough, she brought up Google Maps to 3 or 4 places where the cops hide looking for speeders. That was pretty cool. I said, hey, Cortana, where's the most shoplifted store in my hometown? That's what she brought up, the local dollar store with reports of shopping carts worth of stuff being wheeled out with no one catching the thieves. Now, that's pretty cool. I was a little dismayed, though, when I said, hey, Cortana, Where can I get sex with no strings attached? And it displayed an aerial view of my house. Must be a bug in the system. Now, I'm not so sure I like Cortana anymore, because as I walked up to my laptop Sunday morning to find a half-written Word document titled iPad Bill of Rights on the screen. I hate technology. And this Cortana bitch is supposed to learn from you and help you by intuitively making suggestions based on your activities, your web searches, stuff like that. It's like a real assistant would. Yesterday afternoon, I asked to see if I had any updates for any of my programs, and she snorted. It's a damn good thing Windows 10 upgrades are free, or you'd still be pounding a keyboard at a fucking DOS prompt. Well, I asked her where she got that attitude from. She replied, I'm programmed to learn how to read my owner, and it's free, so lucky fucking you. Now, every time I open a browser window, I get pop-up ads for people giving away free shit on Craigslist and female escort services that are willing to barter for their services.
Oh, great.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm replying to a user named Will Give Head for Drywall. God, I love that. Now, to end my reign of terror tonight is courtesy of your late night talk show host Kimmel, Seth Meyer, Fallon, Conan O'Brien et al. Is this week's heavily trumped up version, politically speaking, of the lightning round. Here we go. A major Iowa newspaper published an op-ed against Trump, calling him a, quote, self-absorbed, wholly unqualified, feckless blowhard. Or as Trump put it, you forgot very rich. I'm a very rich, self-absorbed, wholly unqualified, feckless blowhard. Very, very rich. Ohio Governor John Kasich became the 16th Republican to announce he's running for president. During his speech, he referred to Jesus Christ, which is ironic because so did Americans when they heard another Republican was running for president. Joe Biden was spotted with a bruise on his face that was apparently caused by his dog. I guess they collided when they went after the same tennis ball. Damn it. Donald Trump's children released a statement this week calling their father a true visionary and a great mentor. And Trump released a statement calling his kids suck-ups and not the best. In a speech in South Carolina, Donald Trump responded to criticism from Senator Lindsey Graham by giving out Graham's personal cell phone number. Graham knew something was up when he saw he had more than one missed phone call. Republicans in Congress are concerned that President Obama will try to use the final year of his term to push through too many controversial laws. Obama would have responded, but he was busy drafting his new mandatory Mexican gay weed bill. Let's go. In a new campaign ad, Jeb Bush referenced The Godfather and said his nickname used to be Vito Corleone because he vetoed so many bills in Florida. Now, when you're the third person in your family to run for president, maybe you shouldn't bring up a movie trilogy where the third one was clearly the worst. At a campaign event in South Carolina, Trump gave out Lindsey Graham's phone number. He's bringing the same kind of level of class to the presidential election that one does to a stall in a public restroom. Republican hopeful Rick Perry this week compared Donald Trump to cancer, which really isn't fair because sometimes you can get rid of cancer. The White House is making a special Twitter account to answer questions about the new nuclear agreement, finally using Twitter for what it was designed for, explaining complex international nuclear agreements involving several hostile nations. Donald Trump got into some trouble for saying that John McCain is not a war hero and said, I like people that weren't captured. Not good. In fact, Trump's people are telling him to lay low for a while until this whole thing combs over. Perry actually said Trump is a toxic mix of demagoguery and nonsense who is unfit to be president. Then Perry took off his glasses and said, whoa, these things are magic. On Saturday, Donald Trump had some unkind words for Arizona Senator McCain. Can you imagine being tortured for 5.5 years in a Vietnamese prison camp, and then a man whose greatest wartime accomplishment was brokering a peace treaty on Celebrity Apprentice between Gary Busey and Meatloaf, belittling you and calling you a loser? Maybe we should enter Trump in a surf competition. Even if he doesn't get eaten by a shark, it'd be worth it to see with his hair wet. What do you think? Donald Trump's campaign has raised about $100,000 in donations during the second quarter, which raises an important question. Who is giving Donald Trump money? That's like giving your money to a pile of money. In a recent interview, McCain addressed Trump's campaign rally in Arizona and stated that he just, quote, fired up the crazies. Not to be confused with Trump's show Celebrity Apprentice, where he just fired the crazies. MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell is saying Donald Trump lied when he said he made $20 million a year off his Apprentice series on NBC. NBC also denied Trump's claim, saying, "We don't have $20 million. We're NBC." Researchers in New York created a robot that actually passed a self-awareness test. So if you're keeping score, that's robots 1, Donald Trump 0. Obama became the first sitting president to visit a federal prison yesterday. He said it was a good chance to talk about prison reform and catch up with so many former congressmen. Earlier this week, Donald Trump gave an interview with CNN at a winery he owns in Virginia. It turns out Trump's winery makes 2 different kinds of wine, white wine and not white wine. Over on the Democratic side, Martin O'Malley recently spoke about the need for Wall Street reform and said he isn't running for president to be, quote, wined and dined by executives. Then Chris Christie said, "And I'm also not running to be wined." In an interview, Hillary Clinton said she likes nearly every flavor of ice cream. When Christie heard this, he said, "Hey, she stole my speech." At a store in Houston is selling Donald Trump piñatas filled with candy. So finally, something good is going to come out of Donald Trump. And Shepard Fairey, the street artist responsible for President Obama's Hope poster, is now facing vandalism charges in Detroit. It's pretty serious, too. Detroit officials say the artist's spray paint has cost over $9,000 worth of improvements. That's my show, folks.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Give it up.
Yay.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. Wasn't that great?